Be live. I have to test my audio and make sure. Okay, awesome. I am live. You all can hear me well. I want to hop on and do a quick reading. I'm just gonna wait a minute. I don't expect too many people to join in, just because this was an unexpected live that I'm doing. But I move my anointed oil out the way, so my hands won't be dry. Hello everyone. Welcome in. I won't keep you all here for this too long. But again, I really wanted to do this reading and I just don't have the time to edit it. So here we are doing it live. I really should have added another window on here for I wonder if I can edit now actually. Let's see. I could probably add it on here so it just be in the corner. And you are going to hear children and stuff in the background. Sorry, not sorry. Children are on break and they are going to live their best life, okay? So let's see here. I think that should work. Probably not. It's not showing up like it should. Yes, you all are joining me for a troubleshoot. I want to see if this is actually going to work because I don't see it popping up like it should, which is interesting because it should have been. Well, again, I won't hold you all too long. As you see the thumbnail, you see this title, you know, today we are going to be doing a reading on Wendy Williams, just because there has been some recent developments that has been going on with Miss Wendy, on top of her moving to some kind of care facility because allegedly she had, I guess you can say, fallen off the wagon. She got into some alcohol, allegedly, if I'm understanding this correctly, and she started having an episode, I believe, in her facility, so they moved her. And this is coming on the heels of her recent, I want to say it was a docu-series, if not a documentary, where she was divulging and telling the information in regards to what happened with her money and her not being of unsound minds and such like that, because she was on the Breakfast Club divulging a lot of this information and saying so in the documentary. There's also been a recent development where, you know, I believe it has come out that her son was the reason why a lot of her money was being messed up, which I don't think is surprising because I'm pretty sure he was probably running errands and stuff for her, and as much money she had, as young as he is, you know, the temptation was there. Some stuff got messed up. I don't think it was anything malicious behind it. I think he very much cares for his mom, but you know, young and irresponsible, it happens. So that is that has been going on. And what is something else? Those are all the big facts that I know of, but I wanted to do this energy reading just to kind of see what's going on with her and her battle with addiction and what's going to be coming up in the future for her, because, you know, everything looked like it was on the up and up when she did the Breakfast Club interview. You know, it seems like she was actually turning a corner and that things were going to be on, you know, at least on the good side of things, that we were going to see a good side of her and things were going to be great, but it doesn't look like that's the case. But you know, that's the battle, the challenge with healing, with progress. Is not linear. It's not just up and up and up. Sometimes you have to hit those valleys as you go along to your progress of healing. So with that, I have these tarot cards here. Yes, if you didn't know, this is a tarot channel. Whoopsie-doo. I can't believe you're surprised. I try to put it out there as blatantly as possible. This is a tarot channel, so if tarot is something that does not resonate with you and your spirit, if it is something that goes against your creed, your belief, if it's something that disturbs you, here's your moment in time to click off. I don't want to keep you here. I'm sure there are other things that you are better suited to watch and that won't disturb you at this time. For the rest of us who are okay with tarot, numerology, astrology, geomancy, the talk of the woo-woo and esoteric stuff, blah, blah, we are going to proceed forward and we are going to pull cards on Wendy Williams and see what's coming up in her path of healing and what's maybe coming her way in the future. Okay? And know that I do these readings not as I'm wanting to laugh at her or something like that. I don't come with this with a malicious intent at all. It's really just a learning thing for me, and this is actually out of concern. I'm in interest because I want to see what's coming up for her, because I for one, even though she has had some problematic points in her life, who of us haven't, I do wonder what's going to be coming up for her in the future. And I do hope to kind of like see her maybe bring up a new generation of TV personalities and radio stars. So with all of that being said, I do have to issue another disclaimer. I almost forgot this. All statements made are alleged for entertainment purposes only. This is for YouTube purposes only. This is not, again, with any kind of malicious or ill intent. This is all just for entertainment purposes only. Do not take what I say as the end all be all and run to the hills with it and tell everyone like this girl, because that's not what I'm saying. You're not using my readings correctly, because I always tell you to exercise your power of discernment. There may be some things where I'll be correct or I'm like splitting hairs on, but I try my best to relay the message and the feeling that I'm getting at that time. Energies are subject to change, so that's that. I am human. I am not all seeing, all knowing. If I was, I don't think I would have this YouTube channel, okay? I'll be making money doing something else. So with all of that being said, now we can get into this reading. Let's see. Let me shuffle this up here. I don't know why that is stuck in my head. Na, 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 na. I don't think it has anything to do with this reading. I was watching some stupid YouTube video with my youngest nephew, and so yes, it's just like stuck in my head. All right. Okay, I'm going to take this one because it's kind of been wanting to stick out. We have the 8 of Wands. Okay, oh, we have the 2 cards here. It says 6 of Wands. And let's pull one last card here. I do want to know we had, a couple cards that flipped over here, but I am going to mix those back in. Let's see. Oh, and we have the one card here, which is the Emir of Swords. Okay. Anything else that's over? No. But we do have a few cards underneath that we want to read. Oops, Strength card in reverse. We do have the Sultan, or as most people would know, is the Emperor. And then we do have the Seven of Discs in the upright here. Something makes me feel like there's a powerful man or a manipulative man, some male dominant figure in her life, or maybe male figures just dominate her life, and it has just been like a snowball that has just grown larger into an avalanche that has just like controlled her life and kept her from exacting some kind of independence, or maybe she feels like she needs a man to be strong and powerful, and so now she's kind of like lost her way in some sense here with the Strength and the Emperor card being here. And then we also have the Seven of Discs, and usually the Seven of Discs to me is like work to be done. There is some planting to do, there is some sowing that needs to happen, there is some, I want to say plowing, there's some work, some hard lifting that you need to do if you want to kind of like recoup your losses essentially with the underlying cards. And then we go into, let's go back to the cards that we actually have. So typically the Eight of Wands, to me, it usually reads kind of like, it can read like a witchcraft card to me, because if any of you have the Hoodoo Tarot, the Eight of Wands is the you see an elderly lady kind of like pulling back the bark of the tree. And so to me, it usually kind of like means witchcraft to me, or some kind of like magic or spiritual influence is sometimes the word that I will come up with. But typically the Eight of Wands is usually something that is very swift, very quick moving, something that happens abruptly, kind of take you off your feet here, knock you off your footing here, and change your whole trajectory of things. And then we go into the Princess of Discs. I don't know if Wendy is an earth sign, so like your Virgos, your Capricorn, and Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus, but this to me makes me feel like this is dealing with Wendy Williams, somebody who is still kind of like young and naive when it comes to maybe how to spend money. Like, I think she has the ideas and the spirit to make the money, but in like protecting her wealth and where it should go, that seems to be where some of the hiccup happens. And it's because maybe the notoriety or the way she goes about handling her money, it came with a lot of, let's say, energy exchange essentially. And then we have the Emir of Swords here. So to me, this feels like there was some plotting, there was some destructive force going on, some manipulative person or energy or a corporation essentially that was kind of like plotting on her downfall. Because as I oftentimes tell people, the court cards don't always mean that it is a person. It could be a person, place, or thing. So it could be, say, the place could be her work, or her co-workers, the atmosphere, the business that she's in, the entertainment business. It could also represent, you know, a particular figure in her life. It could be dealing with a particular struggle that she can't seem to kind of like wrap her head around, which is kind of like being very tactical about stuff, which I find hard to believe with Wendy Williams, because it just seems like she knows her shit. So I don't think that would apply. I could see this being a place, her workplace, like the environment that she's in, or a person. So yeah, and to me it just seems like there was, because her, how can I say, like, I guess in the grand scheme of things, because her stardom has shot up so fast, and because of how she got to where she is, there seems to kind of like be some, I guess you can just say, karmic energy that's kind of like playing a force, a hand to play in this situation. The Six of Wands is usually like false laurels. You're resting on your laurels when you shouldn't be. You're celebrating too soon. You think you're on the top of the world, but you're about to have that rug pulled out from underneath you. And she essentially has. And she's kind of having this horrible or what some people would explain as a horrible downfall in her life. But maybe it's more of like a humbling experience. It's just, I should say. Let's see if I can get more details here for what's coming up for Wendy. Okay. Oh, I fell in my lap. So, mask with the 8 of Wands. I see like pieces on a board jumbling around. I don't know if it means like circumstances has changed, people begin to change. And so it was hard to kind of like keep that front up, like things were good. Because I know for a while there towards the end of her show, you know, a lot of people, well, I would actually say it's been throughout the entire time she had the Wendy Williams show. A lot of people were saying how her husband had a side chick, and it was pretty much like, well, as long as I don't hear about it, I don't know about it, which is kind of hard to do when it was like so public and blatant. But I know like towards the end there, it did get really nasty, and a lot of people were like, she's on this TV show, like nothing is falling apart in her life, and she's talking about all these other people and gossiping about them, like her don't stink. And I wonder if it's just kind of like there was a crack in the mask, essentially. Like it was no longer a way to kind of like keep up with false pretenses. It all changed pretty fast once that crack started to appear. Oh, I feel like this one wants to come out. What is this? Harvest. That's funny. We have Harvest coming up here, and we had the 7 of Wands, because it essentially reads like the same thing almost to me. Yeah, to me, this just reeks of like fortune. There was a lot that came in pretty fast, but it seems like you harvested, or you pulled, or you gained a lot. You had a bountiful harvest. But at the same time, it's just you and your family. Who else is going to share into this wealth? Why didn't you try to adequately or properly divide this among your community, your people, or, you know, save some to the side? Why didn't you pickle something, or whatever the case may be? Like, it's kind of like that. Like, why didn't you put some in a rainy day fund or something? Like, why weren't you more diligent with your money? It seems the root of a lot of her issues is coming from money, and her like being overly trusting of people. She has to, no, you know what? Wendy she has to be like a Cancer, but she has the business acumen of like a Virgo or a Capricorn. But she had, to me, she gives me like a bleeding heart for sure. Like she's not a Cancer. She's probably something like a Libra, because she just gives bleeding heart for sure. Ooh, and this flew across the table. Let's see. We have speak up. Now, why would that come up? Speak your truth. Speak up. Stop trying to hide stuff. Stop trying to fake the funk. I wonder if somebody is kind of like coming for her head top in a way. This almost makes me think of the 5 of Cups as well, where it's kind of like you're crying about the 3 or 4 spilled cups that you have around you, but there's still that one thing that you have in your back pocket that you could be paying attention to and dealing with. But because you are maybe too afraid to see it, to address it, to deal with it, you rather just focus on, it's kind of like you are addicted to, you know, people who are addicted to just being in negativity because it's their baseline. Ooh, and what's this last card? Let's see. We have Miracle. Yeah, this makes me feel like somebody was plotting and waiting. And again, just because it's the Amir of Swords or the Prince of Swords, it doesn't mean that it has to be a man. It could be a female as well with the Miracles card here, because when I see pomegranate, that make me think feminine energy all day. And look, brazen. Somebody who was daring enough to go up against her. Somebody stripping the truth away from her. Somebody, ooh, wounded healer. This is kind of really like Chiron energy. Sekhmet gives me Chiron energy all day. I feel like somebody just really wanted to expose her. Or maybe this is the Wendy's energy where she's feeling very exposed, very like a live wire, very alone, very naked, and having to address all of this by herself. It kind of feels like she wishes she could kind of hide. I do wonder if there's like some sort of sense of embarrassment to this, but it's kind of like she's like, this is the nature of the business as well. Like she's not oblivious to what the nature of the business is either. Like you work in entertainment, you work in Hollywood, you know, this is kind of like, this kind of comes with the territory. Maybe she didn't think it was going to happen to her, or maybe she didn't think in this way it would have happened to her, but yeah. It doesn't feel like she's completely caught unawares, but it does feel like, again, some kind of humbling experience, or kind of like, I'm seeing like a lion with his tail caught. You know, somebody pull his tail, like you got caught slipping with your pants down. We have the balance card here with the yin and yang. So I'm saying this, and I'm not saying it as if she's a neglectful person. I think the reason why this balance, this yin and yang card is coming up, this is just my opinion, okay? I wonder if this yin and yang card is coming up for one of two reasons. So the first thing is, Wendy Williams is a woman of a particular age, of a particular generation. She's from a particular generation where, you know, a lot of times women were taught to have a man in their life in order to be propped up, to be seen, to be heard, to have some kind of worth to themselves. That's one reason why I think the yin and yang card is coming up here. The second thing is, and not saying again she is a neglectful or a mean person, because it's not that deep. But I wonder if there's a thing here where she lost herself in her, and where she excelled at with the TV show, with the gossip, and being putting her nose in other people's life, because she was trying to run away from the issues and addressing the things that were like wrong in her life. And she needed to find a balance of like, no, you can still have the glitz, the glam, the fame and stuff, but you also need to make sure you're taking care of home as well. And this is not saying like she was neglectful or she was being purposely mean to anybody or anything like that. I think that's where the balance kind of was thrown out the window with her. I'll say that. Ooh. So succulence, resilience. This is taking me back to what? The strength card. It's hard to kind of like bounce back or to get your footing back up underneath you when you feel like you don't have the grounds to stand on. You don't have a leg to stand on. You don't have a pot to piss in. You feel like you kind of don't have that shoulder to lean on or to cry to. And succulents are pretty resilient. You don't have to water them much, if ever. No, let me stop. But you don't really have to water them much, and they are okay with just a little bit of sun. And to me, it feels like you are removing her sun. Ooh, that could be a double entendre. And her son, her shiny light, and then her child. what kind of makes her work, what kind of makes her tick. And that's probably why she's going through this thing here where she's falling back into her addiction. Oh, there's something else that may be coming up too. Maybe that's where the balance, because a lot of the swift changes in her life, she turned to another form of coping, which was, and she has blatantly come out and said this, so this is not no, you know, she used to do drugs, and I know right now, like, there's been a thing where she's battling her addiction with alcohol, allegedly. So it's like she always finding a way to cope with, like, some of the uglier parts of her life she don't want to address. That could be the other reason why that yin and yang card is coming out. Ooh. Yin and yang balance, that kind of gives me temperance too, and that's usually like the sobriety card, the, you know, dealing with influences, addictions. Okay, and the other card we have here is Infinity, Unlimited Potential, but it came out sideways like this, but I'm going to turn it up in the upright. Why would Unlimited Potential pop up? Again, this boils down to the number 7, which makes you think about the 7 disc again that she had underneath here. I believe it was the second or third card. Yeah, third card. The 7 disc here. She does have a couple of 7s that's popping up. A struggle, some work that has to be done that maybe she doesn't feel strong enough to handle or to do, at least on her own. Sometimes battles with addiction, sometimes people, it's best that the person go in on their own, I feel, but sometimes they definitely need that supportive community as well. And then look, obstacles, mountain is the underlying energy, is coming up in reverse. So this makes me a bit nervy because it's coming up in reverse. So it makes me feel like, is she not going to get over that mountain? Why that Miley Cyrus song came to mind. There's always gonna be another mountain, and you always gonna wanna make it move. That made me think of that. And then we have stars here with divine guidance. It feels like this is the lesson she should have been learning, and she's been avoiding it for the longest time. She's kind of been burying her head in the sand. And then hard love. Oh, Wendy has to be like a Cancer or a Libra. I just refuse. She got it somewhere in the big 3. If she is not a Cancer or Libra, she has one of them in her big 3, because bleeding freaking heart. Family trauma with the tree here, surrender with the water. Yeah, there's definitely some things with her family she needs to address that she doesn't want to, or that she needs to come to terms with and heal and accept and stop being in denial about that thing. But when she starts thinking about it, maybe it just overwhelms her. She's like, I would say she's definitely have an uphill battle going on for her, because I think most of this is like a mental and emotional struggle that she is going to be dealing with, which I think is one of the hardest things that you usually have to come when you're battling your own self, your own demons. That's kind of like one of the toughest fights you'll ever have to deal with. And so I feel for her, and I hope she can, her community closed in around her, what she has that's left of her community, or the community that she builds moving forward, that, they rally around her and kind of like help her out and help her stand on her own again. It's definitely been a wait. There's a lot of tough numbers, struggle numbers going on in here. Yeah, So let me know what you all think down in the comments section below. Let me know if there was a card here that kind of popped out to you, or something that I said that really just kind of like stuck with you and that you want to expand on. We can discuss it down in the comment section below. If you did watch this all the way to the end, what can you put in the chat? What's an emoji you can put in the chat? Let's put a crown in the chat if you made it all the way to the end. And with that, make sure you like, subscribe, and share with other people who will be interested in this reading about Wendy Williams, so they can see it as well and provide their feedback, because I would love that. With all of that being said, I wish you all a great day or night wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.